Welcome to another lesson with myself and John. This
Hello.
time we have chosen, and I don't even know why we've chosen it. It was me. We've chosen
Yeah, it
Karma
was.
Chameleon by
Yeah.
Culture Club, which I don't. I really can't remember why I chose this song, but it's been quite a good one. John,
Maybe
go on. Sorry, John.
because obviously Boy George has been a huge influence on your fashion choices over the years. So
Yeah, yeah.
maybe
No,
that's why.
I think it was that. Yeah, it's definitely that.
Yeah. You don't really. You're too young to remember Boy George when he first started. It was around
No,
about
no, no. I
80,
remember. I remember when he was in
82,
A
83.
Team. He was in A Team, wasn't he?
I have no idea. What
Yeah,
do you
yeah, he
mean
made
80?
it was so big that he made an appearance in A Team,
Right.
um, as part of Culture Club. Yeah, yeah, the whole band were in it. I think they were on stage at a gig
Okay.
or something like that.
Yeah.
I remember him. I don't. I was pretty young, but yeah, I remember him.
Mm.
And now,
Okay.
obviously, he's
So
a DJ now and a criminal.
convicted. Yeah. What, for what? Assaulting a police officer or something like
Is
that?
that? I
Was
don't
it?
know what it was. I just remember
I don't
him.
know.
He had to do community service. I know that.
Well, yeah, yeah. The media just love that. What
Yeah,
seeing
making
you
him
in his
picking up rubbish.
yeah. Oh, poor thing. He's a great guy, really talented. You know, why you chose the song, I've got no idea. But it's a good study in how to make a pop song, how to write a pop song. It's a very good study. For me, it's like classic. Short intro, verse, chorus, bridge, and then chorus out again. Nothing too fancy about it, but really it sort of sticks to the formula as to what a good pop song could be. And compared to the Beatles, I mean, it's nothing special at all. But compared to a lot of what we're listening to today, with the same four chords repeating, it's a great song. It's a really good
Yeah.
piece of
Do you
songwriting.
know what?
Exactly what you'd want for that period.
I've remembered why it came up now. I think it just came on. So, like, my missus, when she drives
Okay.
my car, she leaves like this 80s channel on sometimes on the radio. And it just came on. I was like, oh,
Mm.
I forgot sort of how good of a song this was. I haven't heard it in forever. It's a great song. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
we'll give it a go then.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get started on it. It's really good.
Cool. So,
Um,
like we did with Human Nature, myself and John both went off for a month and did our own versions. So we've got two different versions of the song. As always, mine's a little bit more simple than John's, and we'll demo John's now. So, as you'll hear, that's a brilliant version of Karma Chameleon by John. And we're going to go through, I guess, it's somewhere between the two, aren't we, today? So, we're going to walk through the two and how we went about it.
yeah, just to give you some ideas as to how we go about playing a song, if you want to do more than just strumming it and singing it, where to find the melody notes within those particular chords. So let's have a look. Do you want to kick it off then with the intro and?
Well, first thing we should probably say is that both of us switched the key of the song, which I didn't do initially. It was very early on. John sort of mentioned to me, "Oh, it works pretty well when you switch the key to G, I believe it is." And after about 3 minutes of playing with it in G, I was like, "Yeah, it does. It's a lot easier than what I was already doing." So I switched mine to G. So both of these versions.
Would you call that cheating? I don't think
No,
it's
it's not. It's not cheating as such. In fact, you know what? When I first started doing it, I was sort of quite happy. It's is it B minor? It's in the song's in B minor. I was sort of quite
B flat.
B flat. I was quite happy with it in B flat, and it was all right. And I was finding it sort of good. But then when you mentioned to me it works well in G, and I just tried it, I was like, oh, it works even better. It's so much sort of easier to play and simpler to work around.
It's easier, that's for sure. But also, given the fact that with stringed instruments, and especially the ukulele, which is a small instrument, doesn't have a lot of sustain. We're looking to use open strings where we can, and chords in the first position, because that gives you the fullest sound. Where if you're always making bar shapes everywhere all the time, then it doesn't sound as nice, and it is a lot more difficult to do that as well. So yeah, go for the open. I think it's a good thing to do, even if you might say, well, it's not very challenging for better players, always playing in C and G or what have you. But you want a nice sound. You want to use those open strings. So we're looking at G, C, maybe D and A or F, good keys to play in. But anything else gets a bit more fiddly and doesn't always sound as great.
You're right. It's to me, it's a lot of it is to do with that sustain. It's about maximizing the sustain on an instrument that doesn't have a lot. Really,
and if you're doing a chord melody, then you want to be able to have a chord where if you remove a finger, it doesn't sound awful as well, because then maybe those melody notes, if I'm playing a G and I take a finger off, I've got an A. Well, that sounds nice, I've got a D, take my finger off of the fourth string. I've got what I've got there. I've got a G with it, so I've got a sus chord. All those kind of things add to the flavour of it, makes it sound a lot better. Where you'd find it a lot more difficult if you're playing E flat, or D sharp. A lot more difficult because you can't use those open strings at all to find the melody.
Yep, great. So should we get into the intro, which for me was probably the hardest part of actually getting this one down. I think the reason was, well, one, I sometimes it's quite hard for me to work something out when it's been transposed, but also when, it's a bass run really, this, isn't it? And it's so low that sort of I have quite a difficult time hearing a different octave completely and applying that to my ukulele and trying to work out what that is when you're on a completely different octave.
Yeah, and the fact that I think was it bass guitar or like a synthesizer but really low in the original?
It's super low. I presume I thought it was a bass guitar, but maybe not. It would be in the 80s.
Yeah, it didn't sort of translate that well to ukulele, so that's probably why you struggle to find a good thing. So what have you got then?
So, well, what I'll do is I'll play the melody behind the bass, and then I'll show what I've done with it, which isn't a huge amount. So mine is roughly centered around this. So it's roughly centered around that, and then just to sort of emphasize the first three notes, what I do is I just pluck them and sort of kill them with a bit of a staccato feel on those three. So I'm just plucking and releasing the pressure on my fretting hand. And then I left the rest. I just left the rest just as running down those notes before we get into the song.
Yeah, and again, it's a good idea. I thought it was a really good idea to start this pop song. You're going to expect just those usual chords. It's in G and with the chords of D and E minor and A minor. But it was a really nice introduction because there's a harmonica as well, and the video.
I didn't go for the harmonica, by the way.
No, but no, I didn't get all the notes for that part. I wasn't really interested in that. But what I thought was nice in the song, because the video itself was supposed to be on a paddle steamer in Louisiana.
Yeah, that's right.
And so that intro was actually quite imaginative. I really like that because it's very bluesy with that kind of going down to instead of what we're in D, going down to B flat, and then chromatically up to B. So C to B flat to D. That was really bluesy.
Yeah.
So I really thought that was a nice introduction. So what I did was just do the same as you, but just strumming the chords and just playing it across the strings. But it's just the same. It's exactly the same.
Yeah, you've got more of a campanella flavour to your intro than I have, I think.
I can't resist. I don't think it doesn't really bring anything to it. Yours is just as good.
Okay. Cool. So that's the intro. Nothing too crazy going on there. And then we're off into the verse. So I guess the difference between mine and your version is you've sort of kept what I think, I'm trying to find a way to describe this, but I think you've kept a nice pace going throughout. There's a lot going on. You've not really left any gaps or anything like that, which I think has worked really well. And I've gone the other way, and I've kept mine quite pared back until I get to the chorus.
So you're concentrating on the melody.
Yeah, really sort of focusing on the melody, just the odd chord to sort of bring that out a little bit without going too crazy. Kind of trying to keep it quite sort of sweet until I ramp it up a little bit in the chorus, really.
Okay, so what are the chords then? You want to show me that?
So really mine is pretty much centered entirely around a G and a D. So open G, open D. And I'm just picking the melody out like this. Whereas yours is more. Well, do you want to play the first part of your verse?
So it's exactly the same. And I'm just strumming the chord. Okay, so where I've got what is it? Is there love in your eyes all the way? So here. So I'm just strumming up, taking my finger off to play the note A, bringing it back on, and then into and then a little pull off from B to A, and then in fact, what I do then is I just from that pull off, is just slide up from the position of the D chord there, where I've got my third finger on the second fret of the second string. Just slide it up to make that G chord again. Slide it up one fret.
Oh, okay.
So, pull off, and then just sliding up.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
so,
and then just do that again twice.
So there were times when I was doing a similar thing, where I was just sort of. This happens to be one of the songs where I can sort of hear the melody and know the chords and just sort of wing it a little bit, and it sort of works quite nicely. So hopefully that works for other people. But I could sort of, so much more in line with your version. Weirdly, I mentioned this before we started recording. There's a B note in that version that I play, but when I play my sort of quite pared back version, I don't have a B note in it at all, but I think both work quite well, so I'm not too worried about that.
I think they're both possible as well. If you listen again to the melody on the original record, then possibly it doesn't sing that B, maybe in one verse. Maybe that's a little embellishment that he uses in another verse. I'm not quite sure about that.
I think it might be, yeah. I think there's
You could, yeah, and then maybe next verse you go la 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 la. It's just a little bit of ornamentation, if you like, on the tune. So it's not necessary at all. You've captured the essence of the melody with what you've done. Okay.
Cool. So that takes us. I'm just trying to think of the lyrics. I think you've got them on screen. So
I'll just tell it. So the second part of the verse then goes, "I'm a man without conviction." So I'm a man, and into a C chord.
Okay, so this is quite interesting. So this, I struggled to sort of put any chords behind, which is a common theme with me, if you remember watching the Human Nature video, for anyone watching. So I then moved more to, I'm just need to zoom out on my tab a little bit here. So I had, so there are a couple of chords behind it. So I did get a little bit behind it, but probably not enough, I don't think. I would have liked to have got maybe, let's have a think. In this bit. I would have liked to have got something behind that. But
Hmm.
yeah. So, do you want to go for your version? I'll see if I can pick up any tips from that.
Okay, so what we have then is we have from the last line where we're playing a G. I'm going into a C chord. So la, 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 and back into D. Now, what I did to try to make it sound a little bit more interesting, because we stay quite a long time on the C chord, is I play just a C5. So just C, G, and sorry, G, C, and G again. Okay, and then I play C major 7 there, and so then I play. I put my fingers on the note E on the 3rd string and the note C to make a C6 shape. So I've got to leave this A here. So because when he sings "I'm a man," and I think there's like a chorus that goes, it repeats "I'm a man," I can't get that on the ukulele. So what I'm doing is this. So from so C major 7 to C6, and then just off G to F sharp, and back into the D chord.
Yep. And on your D, are you playing a pull off there?
No.
Okay. So I play a little hammer
Strumming
on.
up.
I play a little hammer on there. So I just play it like
That's nice.
which I thought worked quite well.
Yeah, that's
So
really nice.
just in your, let me just go. Can I just go back to yours 1 second? So we've got. I'm a. So what chord are you playing? Sort of without. Is it without conviction? The lyric.
Back into D, just like you. Okay.
What about just the bar just before that? So
I'm
without.
going,
So where is it?
Can you hear that? So I'm going C to C major 7 to C6.
Okay.
Like that. And that's not part of the melody, that's just filling it in. I just wanted to make it, instead of just going C, 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 I just wanted to add a little bit. Because I had thought about just going from the A to the B to the C. There. And then I just thought, well, maybe I could just drop my fingers on here to play that C6, which I thought sounded nice.
Yeah, it does.
And then the melody is without conviction, and that's what I do there. So little finger on, do it again, and back to the G. And when I'm on this longer D note, this D chord here, I'm filling in by removing my first finger to play the note G open. I'm just doing that. So G, F sharp, and D.
Yep.
And then back into it. Strum, but the same fill.
Yep.
And then that goes around 3 times, doesn't it?
It does 3 times, yep.
And then we get into "You Come and Go."
Yep.
Back to C.
Okay, cool. Yep.
Okay. And then it finishes with an E minor.
Cool.
Yeah. Do you play E minor on yours?
No, I haven't got an E minor in it.
You went back to G, which is
but I can see the E minor would work pretty well in mine, to be honest, as well. Anyway.
Yeah.
Cool. You know, as you were playing then, and I was just picking out the melody while you were sort of strumming. Obviously, you were playing the melody as well. I thought, what a great little duet this would make as well.
Oh yeah, we should have tried that.
Yeah, no, maybe next time.
All right. So 3rd time. We come and go, back to C. We come and go. And then it's to.
And then we're into the chorus.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Right, and then we're into the chorus. Yeah.
Cool. So Well, we'll start with mine because mine sort of moves more into your into the area that you're playing. So there's a lot more strumming going on in mine. So this is where I pick up from the verse a little bit and actually start strumming rather than just plucking.
Yeah.
So
Oh! Stop!
go on.
You didn't ask me about my my little harmonic chord. I'm very proud of myself.
Oh yeah, no, I did
Can
spot it
you?
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aha. Have you ever seen anybody do that before? Because I haven't.
So it's well, I mean, I'm looking at the tab. So rather than actually hearing you play it,
Yeah.
so go on, explain it. So you end with you add a
So
D.
it's you come and go, you come and go, E minor into the D, so that
D.
finishes.
Then you've got your
Right,
harmonic
okay,
chord.
and then I've got my little harmonic chord, which sounds like this. Hang on a second. Right, like that.
Okay,
so
right. Hang on, I've got to learn this. What's
It's a
going on here?
It's a swept harmonic chord, and I think I'm gonna patent it as my own invention.
So you've got so you've got a harmonic on the 12th fret. Oh, actually, is it going to be the 14th?
I'm holding the D chord. Hold
So
the
you've
D
got your
chord.
D chord, but have you got your
Yeah.
pinky finger on?
No, pinky.
Okay,
Just
right. So
D
you're
chord.
picking, you're getting the harmonic on the 12th.
And well, harmonic on the whole chord, so it's going to be A open, so harmonic on the 12th, and then harmonic on the 14th and the 14th and the 14th.
Okay,
Right, now,
but how are you playing it?
how do you sweep that like this?
I can't. How are you doing it?
Okay, so the gesture then is that you have to keep your fingers really stiff. So index finger to touch the harmonic, and ring finger to pluck. And I'm actually going to strum at the same time. So I'm going to just start here. They're not perfect harmonics, because I can't get them perfectly accurate. But I'm just
Sorry, I'm just doing a bad job of trying to do it.
keeping it really, really stiff. So starting here and then just twisting it around, so you go from the 12th to the 14th like that. So you got this kind of twisty shape.
Yeah. It's
there,
like
that, and like that. And you have to make sure it's on the.
Nope.
So imagine that's a strum.
So it's
imagine you doing it just open strings on the 12th fret, okay?
Yep.
And you're going so like that, and I'm just doing it really, really fast.
Definitely need practice on that. Right, I get the concept.
Sorry. There you go.
Wow, interesting. Yeah. Okay, that sounds good.
Well, I think it sounds really pretty like that,
It
especially
does,
just
yeah.
as a little introduction into the next section. Right, so into the chorus. Sorry,
Yeah, good.
I just had to blow my own trumpet.
No, you were right to. You're right to. Okay, so chorus is like I said, where I start to actually introduce a little bit more strumming and a little bit more sort of noise, I suppose. Play maybe dynamics a little bit here as well.
Yep.
So yeah, I've got quite a reserved verse and then into the chorus, which I play with the open chords. So I'm strumming, but I'm not necessarily strumming all the strings. I'm just trying to focus on my up strums. I'm just trying to hit the bottom string and really emphasize that. And my down strums, I'm just really trying to emphasize the G string. So it's so probably never strumming all the strings on either the up or the down. So just starting on the G. So I'm something like that, which works pretty well. And it's, I guess, the melody is...
It's all in the chords.
yeah. It's pretty boring, like you're staying on the same note for a huge amount of time. So you've got to do something with it. And then actually, the sort of second part of the chorus, I really struggled to do the same kind of thing. I struggled to get the chords behind it and get the melody rigged through. So then I switched back after sort of the big Karma Chameleon part into just plucking again. And then just back into the strumming again when I sort of get to that point. But I noticed you, which is good because just to keep the difference, you moved way up the fretboard and you didn't play the open open G anymore, and the open D, which was nice to hear. So, do you want to
Yeah.
play that now, and then we'll talk about that?
Okay. So it sounds like my chorus is a bit like this. Oops, what is it? Let's just do that again.
Jim, you know what I'm smiling about? I'm smiling that the clearest part of that, where you've got the melody ringing out, is the bit that I can't get.
Yeah.
Yeah, you come and go. You've
It's
got that
A
really
minor.
coming through really well.
Right. Okay. So I decided to go for G in the fifth position. Okay. So open 7 7, 5. Don't really play the note D here. Well, yeah, I do. And that's
Yep.
it. Right.
Cool.
So rather than just keeping it on that G chord, I'm just gonna move down to G major 7. So G
Yep.
major 7 then is open 6 7
Yep.
5. Okay, and then into the D chord in the fifth position as well. So, but you keeping the notes A open.
Yep.
So 7 6 5 open.
Yep.
Okay, so just strumming. Whoops. And then just a hammer on from A to D.
Yep. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you've got. Let me just have a blast of that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then you go to. What are you landing on there? Because I land on. I don't think it's the
E
right
minor.
chord. I land on a
E
G.
minor.
Yeah, I land on a G here, but you're good for an E minor.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run from E minor down into the G.
Okay.
So you're going straight to G. I'm going to run down. Now what I'm doing then is I'm barring this like a G chord, second fret.
Like a barred version of a G, yeah.
That's right. And then with my third finger to play the note E to make it an E minor shape. All right. Okay, and then my third finger then just drops down to E flat, so 1 fret down.
Oh yeah.
And then off.
Okay.
Okay. So it's just making it a bit jazzy, if you like.
Yep.
There.
Okay, cool.
Okay, and then the melody You Come and Go is just here from G to F sharp, and it's A minor, the chord.
Okay, yep.
So just strumming with the B.
Nice, yeah.
And into G, back to G.
Cool.
And back to D.
Yeah, nice.
So the chorus then is G, D, E minor, down to G, to E minor, and then to G, and back to D again.
Okay, cool. Nice, yeah.
So
okay.
the melody's all there in the chords. There's really not a lot to do. And as I say,
Yep.
this is why it works with open chords. You just couldn't do this in the key of B flat or E flat because you're just flicking your fingers on and off. I've got A minor here, because putting my finger here, it gives me an A minor or A minor add 9. Okay, and then a G to make it A minor 7. It's all very pretty, and it sounds much nicer with the open strings.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what sort of helped me with this one, in that I know where the melody is, and it's all in the chords. There's not a lot really. You're not having to deviate from the chords as they come.
Yeah,
really,
which is why I wanted to make it sound a bit more interesting with these.
Yeah.
Just keeping something going as well as the melody.
Yeah, which is good. I think for me, as sort of somebody that isn't as experienced at sort of arranging and tabbing as you are, it's nice to have a song where the melody's really, really easy to find within the chords. So you can sort of experiment a little bit, and you can almost feel this one out, which is good. You know, you can't. It's a lot harder to do that when you can't just pluck the melody directly out of the chords, and you've got to be landing on other notes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, good.
Cool.
So that's verse. So we've got intro, verse, chorus.
Yep.
It goes back into the verse, back into the chorus, and then we have a bridge section.
Yep, where the lyrics are, you've got them on screen. It starts with every day. Every day.
Every day's like survival.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
You're my lover, not my rival.
Yep.
Every day is like survival. Yeah. And that just repeats twice.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So I haven't got a great part for this, so I'm gonna bow to your version on this one.
Okay, right. So do you want to hear me play it first?
Yep.
Okay, so we just finished the chorus. That's the end of the chorus. Into a C shape. So the first note of the melody is C to D and back to C again. Now I'm playing a C5. So with my finger on the note G on the 3rd fret.
Yep.
I'm going to strum the melody with my little finger playing this note. Like that. So every day.
Yep, got that.
And then it's like so it's C to B.
Yep.
So that's why I'm keeping this.
So you got that
G
index
here.
finger. You can just leave it sat there, can't you, for this?
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. So I'm just gonna. You see, I've got those three notes there that I can play.
Yep, got that.
It's like survival, and it goes into a B minor chord.
Okay, cool.
And it finishes with the note A. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to keep the bar, and I'm going to take my 3rd finger off to play the note A.
Okay, so you're playing.
Yeah.
Yep. So you're playing the A on the G
Right.
string there.
So I'll just do that again. I'll just do that again from the beginning.
Yep.
And I fill in then with filling by finger picking the B minor chord and just using my little finger again to play the note D. That's just a little fill, and then it goes back to the C5.
Yep.
And into E minor.
Cool. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
So what I'm doing is I'm just, because I've got these 2 minor chords then going from B minor the first time, E minor the second time, then I go into like just finger picking so. And with the E minor chord, doing another little run from E to F sharp to G and back to F sharp like that, just filling out the time.
Yep.
Because that just does it twice. And the second time into an E minor and finishes back on the D again, ready to go into the chorus with my little.
Oh my lord, it's gonna take me ages to get that.
Can practice it now.
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna practice it on the open 12th. I'm not gonna worry about the chord yet. I'm gonna assume. Yeah, we're not gonna make people watch this for the next 45 minutes while I try and get that down. But I'm gonna assume this is essentially impossible to pluck the harmonic with your thumb and do this because you're gonna be strumming up the wrong way.
Yeah.
Cool.
It is.
All right. Which it's good for my default for harmonics is to pluck with my thumb, and every time John puts a harmonic in, it's almost always not plucking it with your thumb. It's using the 3rd finger. So I probably should just start to make that my default way of playing harmonics now. But you've seen us do this before anyway.
Yeah.
I just not been listening basically.
You do what you want, whatever suits you best. Okay, good. And that's it. Back into the chorus.
Cool. So that was
we done.
That was Chameleon. I really think this is one of the best ones you've arranged, actually.
Oh, thank you.
For these lessons, it's when I first heard you playing it, it's so good. It was almost. I'm one of those people. I don't know where I lie. You know, when you hear something really brilliant, whether you actually find it super inspiring or just super off-putting, It's like, oh god, that's so good. Like, I've got to do my version now.
Oh well, it's nice of you to say. I feel a bit the same when I see you do that percussive strum thing with the Gorillas piece. So I can't do it. I still can't do it.
Well, I need to.
I
I
don't
need
try
to.
very much. But
I need to push that beyond. But yeah, well, I don't try much either because my wife hates it when I practice that stuff.
Alright. My wife just hates ukulele. Full stop.
Yeah. I think she's about there as well.
Never mind.
Cool. So,
Good.
thanks for watching, everyone. If you have watched this and you've made it to the end, drop us a comment on the kind of things that you'd like us to, potentially cover, or just let us know what you're interested in. We can't guarantee that we're going to do it, but it is good to get some feedback.
Yeah, that's right. We'd really like to see if anybody got any more suggestions for us, if we're going in the right direction or not. If you like 80s music, and we do.
Yeah,
I like
80s
and 90s.
80s children, basically.
Yeah, that's it. So it's our generation. Okay.
Cool. So thanks for watching, everyone. We'll be back soon.
Yep, see you next month.